So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to six planetary conjunction video. This week I was thinking, what else is left in five planetary conjunction? Because I did my last one of Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Ketu. And after that, if you move to Mars, then Mars can only cover up to Rahu. Like Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Rahu. You can't have Ketu in there. So pretty much I realized that, wow, in terms of Vedic astrology planets, we're now done with the five and we're on to the six. So today we're going to be covering our conjunction of Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this planetary conjunction in your horoscope and all the other astrological details, check out the links here. Check out my astrological report, including my books, consultation, and link to my academy, where I'm currently now teaching divisional charts, starting the Navamsha chart. And of course, you can join the academy anytime. You can even join it next year, and you'll still get the same stuff. So anyway, let's get started with this six planetary conjunction. So when you have this conjunction, you got to understand, six planetary conjunction most definitely create a confusion. Any conjunction beyond four planets, like four or more planets, will create a confusion in a person's mind. Like, who am I? What am I doing? Where am I supposed to be going? It's like, people crammed in. It's like a refugee boat. And when you open the boat, there's like 50 people cramped in a little yacht. That's what happens. And there's confusion, there's hunger, So it just creates a huge confusion. And especially when Sun is involved in this conjunction, what's happening in that case? If a Sun is involved in this conjunction, one, it's Amavasya, or meaning like a no moon, because moon is going to be in the same house as Sun. And most of the planets, I don't think I've ever seen a conjunction where no planet is combust. But sometimes two, more, or all the planets could be combust, meaning they're being irritated, they're suffering. It's like you have Venus or Mars and Jupiter over this hot stove, and you're just kind of like, rotating them like a rotisserie. Or it could just be so close to the fire, just being burnt. And so whenever you have this conjunction, usually a person, besides being confused, will be a humanitarian. Regardless of where the planets are placed, they will have some love for humanitarianism. And most definitely, they will have karma with the parents, karma with the spouse, karma with the gurus. But if this conjunction is occurring in Kendra or Trikon, meaning quadrant or trinal houses, this actually creates a conjunction of a spiritualist, somebody who is very spiritual. Anytime you have five or four more planets in a house. Now, if they're in 6th, 8th, or 12th house, the person will be a spiritualist, but they'll be confused inside themselves. They could be just like, I wouldn't say scamming people, but they're guiding people in a wrong path. Even though they think they're in the right path, they're not. But when it occurs in especially quadrant or trinal houses, a person ultimately does follow a spiritual path in life. They always, because remember, when planets are combust, first of all, some of the greatest spiritual minds, spiritual people, whether it's Vivekananda, whether it's Yogananda, whether it's Ramakrishna, whether it's Meher Baba, whether it's Sai Baba, whomever it is, they have all dealt with great suffering. And they continue to deal with suffering because now what happens is their consciousness goes so high that instead of dealing with suffering in their own life, they start feeling suffering of the world. Because like imagine if you lost a job and you have a family and you're coming back home and you're thinking, how am I going to say this to my spouse? How am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do that? I need to find this job. Now imagine having that stress in your consciousness of every single person you come across in your life, including the world. That, my friend, requires somebody divine, not human. So these are the things that occur with this person. But definitely, such people should be careful whenever these conjunction occurs. In dramatic places like sixth house, eighth house, 12th house, one should be careful of not being scammed by a guru. Like you go to some ashram or somewhere because you saw them on TV and they have this huge crowd around them and it's a lavish place and you're like, oh my God, that's it. This is my place. Just be careful of that. And obviously, if a person has this, you got to understand 8 out of 10 times they might be more confused within themselves than trying to guide you to a spiritual path. Because remember, I mean, you just gotta look at the astronomy of this conjunction. And in the astronomy, most of the time they will all be combust. Some will be combust. Moon most definitely, because and what happens with this conjunction, somehow they suffer through parents. Either they don't have parents, relationship with parents is not good, or parents themselves suffer in their life. Now, this doesn't mean because of this person's conjunction, parents are suffering. No, they're just indicating that their karma began in their own life, in their own chart. But one thing I will tell you, with this six planetary conjunction, a person, when they rise to the top. They can rise. But most of the time, they have to go through such rigorous struggle that many people just give up. They're like, whatever, I'm just going to live my life. I don't care. I don't want to be spiritual. I don't want to be this. So we always have to look at these six planetary conjunctions in a way, in a very, with a grain of salt. And when it comes to education, I mean, they'll be interested in multitudes of things. That's why I'm saying they're confused. They want to be doctor on one side. They want to be engineer on the other side. They want to be scientist on the other side. They want to be photographer and artist on the other side. They want to be a politician on the other side. And the way to kind of help this person is to see the nakshatra and the sign placement and where it's placed. And one has to advise such a person that, look, you have to concentrate on this thing. Like if it's occurring in the sixth house, in Bharani Nakshatra, well, you're here to really fight for justice for the world. Whether you become a, what do you call human rights lawyer, human rights activist, somebody who works with nonprofit organizations, kind of like Amal Clooney, George Clooney's wife. That type of, like, they're doing humanitarian work. Like I told you, six planetary or more, they somehow always want to get involved with humanitarian related work. So that becomes your way. That is who you are then. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of the six planetary conjunction. I don't even want to repeat that because I'll forget. But if you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where your planets are placed, my books, reports, consultations, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.